Hello, dear friends. 2020 was the year of awakening, and 2021 was the year of change. What will be 2022? I hope and pray it will be the year of the official big disclosure. Opinion piece. Hidden base on Jupiter. Camouflaged in clouds on the planet. Remote view of this facility. Controlled economic demolition. Belgian Army suffers cyber attack. US sends gas flotilla to Europe. Stargate project investigated remote viewing. Magnesium shortage could affect aluminium. 2 earthquakes hit Iran's nuclear plant. Planetary liberation petition reaches critical mass. Japanese corporations want to launch a digital currency. The mother of all bubbles would be auto-lending. They tried to bury us, but they forgot where stat sits. Let's start. Remote viewing has confirmed that an Ashta command base would be hidden in the clouds of Jupiter, according to multiple remote viewing sessions conducted by the Farsight Institute using scientific protocols and published by Dr. Michael Sala. Apparently, this facility would have been used as a meeting place for secret agreements reached between 14 spacefaring nations and several outside organizations in July 2021. If such a facility existed in the clouds of Jupiter, then they would obviously have the technological capability to survive safely in this environment, and a very hostile environment would offer benefits, such as the significant levels of protection that the military facility would enjoy. It would be difficult to find a facility without assistance. Any approach to the facility would be detected, and ships of many species would not even be able to survive these harsh atmospheric conditions to mount an attack. It appears to be a secret facility and doesn't appear to be involved in communicating with Earth's population. As Dr. Brown reasoned, this would provide a stealthy base of operations for activities throughout our solar system and on Earth itself. It makes no sense for them to try to compete with Orion and reptilian efforts to manipulate the human population by spreading disinformation. If they were interested in interacting with humankind on a more personal level, they would be located closer to Earth, not hidden within the clouds of Jupiter. In conclusion, remote viewing is an important intelligence gathering tool on external affairs and exopolitics. However, it must be performed using scientific protocols to obtain the best result. Finally, Ashtar Command appears to be part of an alliance of positive or service to others organizations working with a terrestrial coalition of spacefaring nations led by a Space Command on transformational events happening behind the scenes. Now we know by Logan B. Now we know what has been a long delay to this. The creators and administrators of the black magic monetary system that has plagued humankind have been given the opportunity to undo their mistakes to save themselves from a terrible fate. If they do that, they will be able to enter a portal from Antarctica to what they consider a safe haven. The QFS is more than capable of erasing the old monetary system, but the coalition is giving them a chance to do something good for once in their lives. I guess all we can do now is wait a little longer until it's over, while we keep fighting. Remote vision. Remote viewing is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or invisible target by feeling with the mind. Generally, a remote viewer is expected to provide information about an object, event, or person or location that is hidden from physical sight and separated by some distance. Remote viewing became popularized in the 90s with the declassification of certain documents related to Project Stargate, a $20 million research program that began in 1975 and was sponsored by the US government in an attempt to determine any potential military applications of psychic phenomena. Psychic phenomena. In spiritual literature, remote viewing was known as telesthesia and traveling clairvoyance. Rosemary Gilley described it as seeing remote or hidden objects clairvoyantly with the inner eye or in an out-of-body journey. Stargate Project. Project Stargate was a secret US Army unit established in 1978 at Fort Meade, Maryland, by the Defense Intelligence Agency and a Californian contractor to investigate the potential of psychic phenomena in military and domestic intelligence applications. The work of the Stargate project primarily involved remote viewing, the ability to physically view event sites or information from a great distance. This project created a set of protocols designed to make it more scientific, to investigate clairvoyance and out-of-body experiences, and to minimize session noise and inaccuracy. The program appeared in the 2004 book and 2009 movie, both titled The Men Who Stare at Ghosts, although there mentions it by name. It is not a fiction work by John Rawson published in 2004 about military exploration of spiritual concepts and a possible military application of the paranormal. The title refers to the attempt to kill goats by looking at them and stopping their hearts. They had no brighter idea than to take the lives of the poor little animals. The first 5 chapters of the book examined the efforts of a handful of Army officers in the late 70s and early 80s to exploit paranormal phenomena and elements of the human potential movement to improve military intelligence gathering capabilities and operational effectiveness. This included the First Death Battalion Operations Manual in 1979, and a psychic espionage unit established by Army intelligence in the late 70s. This was Project Stargate, which the book never mentions by name. Reset news. First one. Energy relief to Europe. The US has sent a flotilla of liquefied natural gas to Europe. Up to 30 tankers are currently crossing the Atlantic Ocean and are on their way to a continent starved for fuel. Second one. Control economic demolition. Gas prices are rising in Europe. The economy is imploding, and they are the first to feel the pain. The evidence is about to change, and the truth will be revealed. They will continue to push, but this will fail. The more they push, the more people will not comply. The scare tactic no longer works. The great Davos reset collapsed. Third one. First, we had a semiconductor shortage. Now we are on the verge of a magnesium shortage, which could cause a widespread aluminum shortage. Fourth, auto loans would be the mother of all bubbles ready to burst. Auto loan delinquencies rise. Outstanding auto loans and leases have soared to a record 62% equivalent to 1.90 billion according to the Nomad Economist. 5. 5-day cyber attack in Belgium. The Belgian Army was hit by a cyber attack 5 days ago and is still struggling to restore affected part of its system. Elements of military operations connected to the internet are contaminated and are still being analyzed and restored. 6. On Wednesday, December 22, 2 earthquakes struck Iran's nuclear plant just over a week after another earthquake hit the region. There are 24 nuclear reactors that must be shut down for Yesara to be activated. 7. This war is spiritual. Entities are exposed. Fear is their lethal weapon, and we must pray. 8. Large Japanese corporations want to launch a digital currency backed by banks. 9. Solar storm could hit Earth. A solar storm could cause Christmas disruptions as NASA warned of an impact that could cause radio outages and GPS problems. Our sun has teamed up with Santa Claus. 10. X22 report. China will pay in the end. The price of lumber is rising again. The dark side is pushing the crisis hard. Trump says China will have to pay $60 billion even though they don't have that money, but they have gold. The dark side is now pushing everything they have to make people suffer during the Christmas season. They want shutdowns so people will beg. All the pieces are in place, and soon the big push will begin. 11. Activation of divine intervention. Both the critical mass for the direct divine intervention activation on December 21st and the critical mass for the Planetary liberation petition have been reached. The forces of light have communicated that we must now keep the momentum going. If you have not yet signed, you can still sign the petition. 12. They have also asked that those who feel guided can do the divine intervention meditation once a month at the full moon. This will help keep the portals of light open and strengthen the grid of light around the planet. Second coming. Only the second coming would make things better in 2022 by Greg Hunter. Things are not going to get better without the second coming of Christ. Right now, evil has too many controls. They control too many avenues. They control the media. Message from Esru Manuel Sananda. I am who I am, and I am in charge of this planet on which you reside. For centuries, your Holy Bible has spewed inaccuracies about me, portraying me as the only Son of God. Let me explain further. When each of you reincarnates on earth, you return to learn lessons. Your soul acquires a body of flesh to house it. I also did the same thing many times on earth. Like Jesus, I was portrayed as the Son of God, which is not true. I am the son of the Archangel Gabriel, and I didn't die on the cross, although I suffered crucifixion. I survived, and friends from India came in through the back door of the tomb and took care of me for 3 days. From there, I went to India and lived to be 107 years old, remarried, and had 7 children. My wife, Magdalena, and my 2 daughters fled to France when I was crucified, and I never saw them again. I felt emotions like you, the wrath of the scribes and Pharisees, and even in India I went from village to village preaching and teaching, but I never stayed in the same place for more than 1 night. They sought me to kill me, because the wicked found out that I was still alive. Reflections. For the Rule of Law Against Lawless and Godless People by René B. There are two opposing forces fighting for survival of themselves and their family. The evil forces have been in power for centuries, while the positive forces started to gain power only a few decades ago, starting from scratch. By then, the forces of evil have multiplied in great numbers, much more than we have been led to believe. After all, their most powerful weapon is the ability to put you to sleep with their illusions and their monopoly of 97% of the communication systems, from airwaves, digital, and everything that is printed, from currency to newspapers, magazines, etc. Final word of wisdom by the Highlander. That word is faith, total trust or confidence in someone or something. I have faith and confidence in myself. I have faith and trust in my God. However, I no longer have faith and confidence in anything the so-called intelligence gurus says. Intelligence gurus say, for days we have had the headlines, in quotes, everything is in place, everything is happening, moving to get ready, waiting to flip the switch, close to the finish line, confirmed by 3 sources. They are setting the stage, big push, minute by minute, just got a goal, etc., etc., etc. What else do we know from all these headlines? Nothing at all. Turning Point by Tim M. They tried to bury us, but they forgot we were star seeds. Slowly, all of us are being reprogrammed with correct data and spiritual downloads, and as we begin to process the information, we are guided back to a natural state of grace. Many will follow their own inspiration as planetary ascension, and upliftment continue to bring humankind to the moment of great revelation or disclosure. This twisted history has created a false paradigm based on illusion. Some people continue in a kind of stagnation, in a form of complacency, in a form of resignation, in a form of not moving forward, while others begin to ask the right questions as they begin to step out of their programming. Everyone has their own path. We have begun to break out of matrix programming by realizing this. Don't delegate your power. You will be fine yet, by Stefan from Germany. I still remember it well. 2020 was the year of awakening, and 2021 was the year of change. What will 2022 be? What are we left with if we rely on all the great forecasts? Here too, we hand over our personal responsibility to others instead of shaping reality ourselves through our actions or thinking the way we would like it to be. This reliance on others must change as much as scarcity thinking, perhaps even more importantly. In fact, this has led us to where we have been, to dictatorships in disguise. That's why I prefer to face my future, which will be better for everyone. What is happening now is a war with the digital soldiers, who, by the way, are getting stronger and stronger. The dark side is getting weaker, and weaker because it has already lost all the battles before it started. The coalition is becoming more powerful every day. Forces are positioned all over the world to catch even the last puppets. They don't know it yet, but they still weigh themselves in security. They believe they still have power over the people, but their days are numbered, and justice will come. How many people have finally had their doubts raised? How many agents realize the mistakes they have made in the last few months? Folks, this is smoldering ember that will soon ignite a fire the world has yet to see. And how many agents realize they don't stand a chance against thousands of protesters when push comes to shove. The cleanup has been going on for a long time now at Christmas. It will be delayed again, I'm sure. When and how can't matter to us, can it? The important thing is that it is happening and will happen. The same is true for the future wealth of all of us. All of this is unprecedented. Never has the whole world been completely liberated, and never have all its inhabitants been enriched at once. Never do those who have worked out this plan and are carrying it out to give information to the outside world. So I simply scroll and tear away from a lot of information because I find that it overwhelms and stresses me. Not to mention the time I then lack for perhaps more important things. Everything comes in its own time. Truth always prevails. None of us needs to follow anyone, and none of us needs a leader or a guide. All must take their own responsibility and get information to apply this responsibility correctly. Now, when everything seems to be coming to a head, calm is important. Act with more consideration, wisdom and prudence. Observe everything for the time being. At a certain point, changes will have to happen simultaneously or shortly thereafter, but we are not there yet. Maybe it will happen now during the next vacations. We don't know. We only suspect. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends. And I wish you a Merry Christmas.